Right, okay. So for easy, please refer to the lecture notes. So about this question, these examples here. A digital shop has a sale on a boot drive. The stock of the shop has 300 MIGs. MIGs means they are hard disk drive, HDD drive, and a solid state drive, right? SSD drive that were manufactured either in Malaysia, China, or Thailand, right? The details breakdown appear in the following tables. This is actually involving the table of outcomes here, right? Table of outcomes here, or sometimes we call it contingency table, right? This table is a table of outcome where it list out the numbers of, maybe you can see from this table, you should understand, means that HHD drive, which is Malaysian make, right? Malaysia manufacture, so which is manufactured in Malaysia, and HHD drive is 35. In the shop, they have 35. The stock have 35. And Thailand and SSD means that if you want to find a SSD drive that manufactured in Thailand, there are 50 of it. Okay, 50 of it, right? So means that from this table, it's actually giving you the information, right? So this is a table of outcome. So means from Malaysia, either they are HHD drive or SSD drive. Total, if you total up, you have 120, right? 120 means that from Malaysia, the stock is 120, either is HHD or SSD drive, right? So you actually can read the total from this table here. So usually, before I'm finding the probability, I will find the total just like this. All right, I have a table, for example this table, so I will construct, I will total up, I will put a total here, right? So that easy for me to calculate the probability later. So when you get a table, so you find the total, right? For example this one, so you have 120. So this one you have 110, right? 8 plus 30, 80 plus 30. So 110, and this one you have 70, right? 70. So if you look at the question is actually telling us that, the question is just telling us that they have 300 mixed hard disk drive and solid state drive, right? 300. Total, we have 300. So the total should be 300. So if we add up 120 and 110, you have 230, right? 230 plus is 70, you must have total of 300. Same thing here. If you total up these three, okay, let's total up. So means you have 85. 85 HDD, HHD hard disk drive, HDD, all right? HDD disk drive, right? So, and later on for the SSD, I just put a, all right, I just writing the short form for this, all right? Easy for me to calculate the probability later, right? This is the event of manufactured by Malaysia, and this is the event of make from China, and this is the event that make from Thailand, right? And this is the event, it is an hard disk drive, HDD, right? And this is the S represent is the SSD drive, right? I just put a capital letter to represent all the events here. So now if you total up, you have 85, right? So you have 85 for this, right? So you have 85, and for this definitely if you add up 85 plus with 80 plus with 50, you will have 215. Total up these two must also 300. The total is 300. So means that in the digital shop have 300 of stock, right? So later on, look at the question, right? Look at the question. Only you start to answering the question. Very simple. Follow. A customer, right? A customer randomly select. A customer randomly select a drive, is only one drive from the stock, right? From the 300 stock. So you know that it's 300, right? Total up everything here. Means that total HDD, right? Drive, hard disk drive, you have 85, right? So and the stock for SSD will be 215 because SSD now is getting more popular, right, compared to hard disk drive. For the current technology, right, SSD will be better than hard disk drive, right? So that's why it's more stock. So based on the situation, I can see, right? So a customer randomly select a drive from the stock. Find the probability that the drive is Thailand made SSD. The most important, you understand what it means. Probability that the drive is Thailand made SSD. What is meant by Thailand made SSD? Thailand make means another meaning is Thailand make means it must be from Thailand and it must be an SSD. Thailand and SSD drive. How many of it? 50, right? 50 out of total of 300. That's the meaning. Alright, out of 300. So total we have 1/6, right? Means that 1/6, or we can say that 1/6 of the stock, right? 1/6 of the stock in the digital shop means that 1/6 of 300 is made from Thailand and SSD drive, right? Thailand made SSD drive. So very simple. Okay, so you must understand the statement here. So find the probability that the drive either manufactured in Malaysia or China, right? Malaysia or China, they just want the manufacturer in China. They does not tell you that is hard disk drive or solid state drive. No, they never tell you, right? It's either Malaysia or China. How many of it? So means that the stock that come from China, the drive that come from China and Malaysia have how many? So it's either from China, Union, Malaysia, right? We write this way. So union means that either or, right? Or in the meaning of mathematics. So it's actually how many of it? You can take the 120 plus with 110, right? 120 plus with 110. So because from China is 110, from Malaysia is 120, right? So overall divided by 300. Then you know how many is from China and Malaysia. Means you're getting 23/30, right? 23 over with 30 is almost more than 75%, right? The stock in the digital shop is from Malaysia and China, right? Because China or Malaysia make up of 23/30, right? So actually this is also the event of China. The drive is from China and the drive is manufactured in Malaysia or China is actually mutually exclusive, right? Means if you choose a drive, satu drive, this drive is either from China or Malaysia. It can't be the drive is made in China and also made in Malaysia. No, right? It's actually mutually exclusive. So later on I will tell you why. Alright, because there is no intersection between these two. The stock that from China, can you say that China and Malaysia have intersection? Where? No, right? So they are mutually exclusive event. That's why you just add up 120 plus with 110. Alright, just add up. So okay, look at C. Look at question C. Alright. So look at question C. We have either manufactured in China or an HDD hard disk drive. Alright. So either manufacture in China or an hard disk drive. So means that either is made in China or is a hard disk drive. This is non-mutually exclusive. This is non-mutually exclusive because why? Okay, I just tell you for your knowledge, right? Because there is an intersection between these two. China and is an hard disk drive, which is 30, right? The intersection between these two means that China and hard disk drive is 30, right? It's non-mutually exclusive, so doesn't matter. So we can actually take the value from the table. Alright, okay, I show you the first method, right? Two method is accepted, right? Two method is accepted. The first is you just pick the value from the table here. China, right? Okay, China we have 30 and 80, right? 30 and 80. And hard disk drive. Hard disk drive is 35, 30 and 20, right? 35, 30 and 20. Means that either they are from China. You must understand the meaning of all. All means even though this is Malaysian manufactured in Malaysia, but this is a hard disk drive, so we accept this number here because they said either it's from China or hard disk drive, right? The meaning of union is very important. The union, so means that you should add up 35. Even though it's not from China, never mind, but it's a hard disk drive, so 35 is included. So plus with 30, plus with 30, plus with 20, right? 20 is also not made from China, but is hard disk drive, so we accept. And 80, and another one is 80. So divided by the total 300. This is first method. We just use from the value from the table. So because the 80 here, even though it's not hard disk drive, it's a solid state drive. But why it's still included? Because it came from China. Because China either manufactured in China, I okay, and hard disk drive, I okay, right? So that's why I add up this four number and we get the probability. This is the first way we do. Then we get 11 over 20. 11 over 20. Right. This is the first method, right? I have to tell you that in every of my video, I will explain quite long, right? You must have patience to understand why I'm doing this. If your purpose is correct, means that you know what you want to do, means that you study my video because you want to know the details inside the video, then you should watch my video, alright? But you just want to know how was the working, then this is not suitable, alright? You have to be very patient and see what I'm explaining to you, alright? I try to tell you as many as possible, alright? Alternative 1, okay? Alternative 1. There is another alternative, alright? Alternative 2, which this student like to apply formula, right? Like to apply. Sir, can I apply formula? She refused to understand. He or she refused to understand this. Then I have to tell them formula. So probability of C, probability of H, A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus with probability of C intersect H, right? So we can using the formula for probability. Using this because you know that why the formula have this, because this is non-mutually exclusive. This case is non-mutually exclusive. So means that they have intersection. So probability of China, probability of getting a China, the product is from China, manufacturer is 110. 110 over with 300 total. From China is 110. So hard disk drive. Hard disk drive total have how many? You look at here. The total is 85. Right? The total is 85 out of 300. Right? It's 85 out of 300. Right? And we have to minus away the intersection between these two. The China and manufacture in China and hard disk drive, which is 30 of it. Right? 30. China and hard disk drive, we have 30 of it. So 30 over 300. And you were still getting the same answer. Alright? Same answer. This is, we apply the formula, the addition rule, the union formula, right? The union for events of two probability. This is, we apply from the table. So both also you must understand, and so you have to understand this formula and also understand how to using the table, right? For me, both is okay, but for myself, I prefer this, alright? Right? Some students, they will further investigate why these two will get the same answer. Alright? You see 110, right? They take 110 plus with 85. Definitely, this is the one that already adding 2 times, right? 2 times. That's why they need to minus 1 times, right? Because it's already extra, over calculate, right? Because they have intersection. They are not mutually exclusive. Alright? So, alright, let's look at part D. Alright, okay, let's continue with part D. Neither manufacture in Malaysia nor an SSD. So neither means not in Malaysia, is not manufactured in Malaysia, and also not manufactured, not an SSD. That's the meaning here, right? Okay, I can tell you, there is a two way of writing this. You have to highlight this. So it's neither Malaysian, manufactured in Malaysia, so means that not manufactured in Malaysia, and also at the same time the product is also not an SSD card, right? So this is the meaning. Or either you can write in this way. By using the De Morgan rule. Malaysian is not from Malaysia or an SSD card. They actually have the equivalent meaning here, right? Means that it's not manufactured in Malaysia, is not manufactured in Malaysia, and also not an SSD card. Or we can say that either Malaysia or SSD, either is not manufactured in either Malaysia's not manufactured in Malaysia, or is an SSD card, right? SSD drive, right? It's not. So means not. Alright, so these two have the same meaning here. So very simple here will be, you can apply the formula if you want. Alright, alright, usually I will using the table. It's easy, right? But you have to show where you're adding, right? You have to show where you're adding. So it's either Malaysia or SSD. Where is Malaysia? Malaysia, right? Malaysia. So Malaysia, right? Or it's an SSD drive, right? So SSD drive. So means it's this region. This is the region, right? But the problem here, we have a complement, right? We have a complement. Complement here is to tell us that not this region, right? Without the complement means that it's either Malaysia or SSD card, right? It's either Malaysian, manufactured in Malaysia, or it's an SSD drive, right? So means that it's either this one or this one, right? But because of neither, right? So means that not from this region, it's these two. So we have to take the 30 plus with 20 over with 300, right? Which 50 over with 300, right? 50 over with 300, we have 1 over 6, right? We have 1 over 6. So this is the way we solving this problem. Or you can using the formula, right? Some of you may using the probability another way, or alternative 2. So you can have probability of, you just calculate this, alright? Calculate this. So probability of Malaysian make plus the probability of SSD card minus the probability of Malaysian and SSD. So Malaysian, how many? 85, right? You see? Oh, sorry, Malaysia, manufactured in Malaysia got 120, 120 over with 300 plus with SSD, right? SSD got how many? 215, right? 215 over with 300 minus away Malaysian and SSD, right? Malaysia and SSD drive, so it's 85, right? 85 over 300. If you calculate, you are getting the result. So you are getting 5 over 6, right? You are getting 5 over 6. This is probability of Malaysia M union S, right? Simple Malaysia M union S, because they want neither, right? Neither Malaysian nor SSD drive, right? So we have to take the complement, means that the complement of M union S, right, will be you take the 1 minus the 5 over 6, which will give you 1 over 6, right? 1 over 6. Okay, this is directly from the table of outcome, and this is by using the formula, right? So that's the difference, but both is good. All right. Okay. So the question is not end yet. So I discussed various questions, variety of questions that possibility high will ask in your examination. So you look at this, the part E here, right? Is a SSD given that, SSD means S lah, alright? As given that is a conditional probability, right? Given that the drive manufactured in China or Thailand. So means that is an SSD, right? S, I just said S lah, okay? Given that is from China or Thailand, right? China or Thailand. Very simple. So means that given means that the total you have to take from China or Thailand, right? China or Thailand, total you have how many? 1, 1 and 0, 1, 1, 0 plus with 70. You have to understand, first you have to understand the meaning of given, right? Given means that you know this probability should come from the total, the total must be come from either from China or Thailand, right? From this region, must from this region here. So from China and Thailand is 110 plus with 70. Alright? So the number up there you have to choose from this 4 region here because it must come from this region because they already given. You must understand the meaning of given, right? Diberitahu is from here, right? 70 plus 110. So it's an SSD drive. From here, which one is SSD? 80 and 50, right? 80 and 50. That's the meaning here, right? That's the meaning here. So means that you have 130, right? 130 divided by 180, right? 180, which give you 13 over 18. This is the probability required by the question. The most important thing is you understand the question, alright? You understand the question. What is meant by given? Alright, okay, let's look at the next part. Alright, okay, let's look at how about if the question asking this way. The probability that the drive is manufactured in Malaysia, given that an hard disk drive, means that given that H, right? This is hard disk drive, right? So again you read, okay, manufacture in Malaysia, probability manufacture in Malaysia given that an H hard disk drive, right? So means that for F you should know the meaning here, right? The probability of is an manufactured in Malaysia and given that is an hard disk drive, right? So means that very easy. You have to, when you answer probability question involving table of outcome, you look at the what is given, right? Given means that the total should not be 300, right? Just now given is either from China or Thailand, so you total up this 3, right? So the total is 110 plus with 70. So if given that is a hard disk drive, means that the total have to come. How many totals of the hard disk drive? Is 85. So it should be 85, right? Divided by 85. And out of these three, you don't see here. You don't see here because they already given. The meaning of given means they tell you the region. The region is from here. Is from here. And now it's a Malaysian. Come from Malaysia. Manufactured in Malaysia. Means that come from here. Which one is from Malaysia? 35, right? 35. So 35 over 85. That's the meaning. Out of 85, out of this 85 hard disk drive, 35 is come from Malaysia. That's the meaning here. So 35 over 85. So which is 7 over with 17. Alright, 7 over with 17. So, alright, this is the how we answered the conditional probability. And later on, determine whether the events of drive made in China and drive made in Malaysia are mutually exclusive. Just now I have already tell you, the events of drive made in China and the drive made in Malaysia are mutually exclusive. Because why? You look at the question. There is only a drive is chosen, right? A drive. So when you choose a drive, when you buy a drive, there is only one drive, right? One drive. Means that either you buy it is from China, right? Or you go back with a Thailand, right? So China or Malaysia, right? Or Malaysia. So means that it's a mutually exclusive event. It cannot be happen once, alright? It's either you beli daripada Malaysia, you balik dengan produk itu. Satu saja you beli. Tak boleh lah. You beli di Malaysia, balik dia jadi China, tiba-tiba jadi Malaysia. Tak boleh. Okay lah. It's only one event. It's mutually exclusive. So how to explain? You can't explain by using. You must use mathematics, right? Easy to explain. So means that the probability you have to show that the probability of this is the same as the probability of these two, right? So M union C, right? M union C. So M union C means that either Malaysian or China. So it's 120 plus with 110, right? So means that all of this. So it's the same as 230. You already calculate just now, right? And 300. So which is 23 over 300. So probability of Malaysia 120, right? 120 plus with over with 300 plus with 110 divided by 300, which is also 23 over 30, right? Without minus, right? Because why? The probability of M intersect with C is 0. A simpler, this is another way of explaining. The first one, you prove these two, or this one is easier, right? There is no intersection between the events of manufacture in Malaysia and manufacture in China, alright? So they happen together. So no, it's 0. The probability is impossible, right? The 0 here is tell you impossible, right? Impossible that the product you take out from the mall, from the shop is China and also no, alright? So determine whether the events of the drive, right? The last one is the determine whether the events of the drive are SDD, means that the event S, right? The event S and the event of make in Thailand, right? The event of make in Thailand means that the event of T are independent events. Is it independence, right? Is these two events independent? Very simple. Okay, you got two way, right? I have shown you quite some number of video about this. So now I'm using the other way will be the probability of M intersect with S. They follow the multiplication rule. If these two events are independent, they will follow the multiplication rule. So means that they will follow Thailand and STD. From here, from the table, Thailand and STD is 50 out of 300. So which is 1 over 6, right? So if I take the probability of manufacture in Thailand, multiply the probability of is an SDD drive, right? So I just multiply. So from Thailand, how many of it? 70, right? 70 over 300. Multiply with the probability of S. S means what? The S drive, which is 215, right? 215 over with 300. You calculate and you justify. Alright, after calculated, we're getting 301 over 1800, which is not the same. These two value, right? These two value is not the same, right? Means that they never follow the multiplication rule of the independent events. Never follow. It's not the same, right? Means that it's depend, right? It's depend means that the events of is come from Thailand, the drive come from Thailand, and SSD is depend. Why? You see, if it's from Thailand, the product will be lesser, right? The product, what's the meaning? If you know probability very well, you will understand, right? From Thailand, 70, right? 70. So means that the probability of is an SSD drive is affected by which country, right? From China 80, from Malaysia is 85. If Thailand is 50 only, right? 50 only means that it's affected by which country, right? It depends, right? When you buy something, you buy, for example, you buy this calculator, right? Calculator, you see, oh, it's made in Japan. Probably you will confidence, right? You will buy more. Or the shop will be more stock about this product, right? Cashier, right? If you're selling here, Tan Chi Kun, right? The calculator is made from Tan Chi Kun, manufactured in Selangor. Tan Chi Kun. Do you buy? You don't buy, right? It's affected, the product, the brand, right? You buy a shirt, Adidas, you pay more compared to you pay more for a brand which you don't know, right? So this is branding. So it's something like this. I can explain about this for you, means that it depends. Okay, they are dependent. When they are not independent, they are not independent. When you calculate, they are not independent, means that it depends also. The customer want to buy the drive from Thailand, China, or Malaysia. It depends, right? So through mathematics, we can explain. That's the meaning, right? So hope you understand.